Solar panels on the rooftops of homes and businesses have multiplied, particularly in the past year, as rolling blackouts have intensified. And while no official stats are available, anecdotal reports suggest the theft of these photovoltaic panels has boomed as well. I'm joined now by Rodney Taylor, Managing Director of Guardian Eye. It's a company involved in remote security and home automation. Thanks so much for joining us. So we don't have official stats. We've heard about solar panel theft. Is it really a brand new trend? Is it really increasing dramatically from what you're hearing?
Yes, Sally, unfortunately the stats are not available yet, but I'm sure in the coming months the stats will be coming up from the insurance companies. But I mean, it's obviously this load shedding is driving this theft. The increase of your conventional electricity is also not helping. And these solar panels and batteries are of a high value. What happened in the past is your mainstream telco providers were targets, where the base stations were seen as a target to steal lithium batteries. But this is now unfortunately spread across the consumer market as well as your corporate and mid-sized customers as well. So it's not just the telcos that are under threat at the moment with the theft.
So talk to me about what makes a solar panel vulnerable in terms of placement. I mean, what is the safest way to install a solar panel?
So firstly, just obviously the components themselves are it's a commodity. It's made of silver, aluminium, glass and copper. So the entire turnkey product is obviously of high value. So they've got a high resale value. Generally, these are installed in remote areas. If you look at that type of installation that's on the TV, they're very easy to transport if somebody was to steal them. And another big thing is they're not serialized like vehicles. So once they're removed, they're pretty easy to get into the black market. So this is fueling this industry of this massive black market that's starting to happen. What Guardian Eye has done as a business, we've been in the industry for 12 years monitoring other sites, even some state sites in South Africa, as we've come up with a first to market where we're actually securing the batteries and lithium-ion units now with a composite material, and it's a trademark patent that we've designed in South Africa. So literally securing the asset that it can't be removed. And secondly, we're coming up with some very smart Internet of Things, micro-dotting of panels, hidden transmitters that can't be blocked, so they don't use the GSM, they actually use a radio frequency connected to our control room. And obviously we're still relying on the reaction units out there, and we're working very closely with SAPs with regards to micro-dotting of these assets. So
and it's interesting.
It's a combined effort.
So the micro-dotting, I first heard about that with cars. So now we're saying we need to micro-dot
Yes.
solar panels. But as you've mentioned, they're flat, they're nice and easy to transport. They don't have a serial number, which is really interesting. So you can't trace them. So is there a way to, bolt them on really properly to make sure it's difficult to get? I mean, you've mentioned some of the innovations, but I imagine they come at quite a cost. Is there a way to perhaps make sure that you, in the first instance, put your solar panels in the safest place, but also the most sunny place? I mean, that's the trick, isn't it? You have to place those panels where they're going to get the most sun, which might not be the safest place.
Right. 100%. And once again, I always say to people that are investing in this kind of technology, use reputable companies, with track records that know how to do the installations, to guarantee your investment is going to give you a return. But, securing panels, what generally happens is the thieves will then actually maliciously damage the units. So we are saying rather use smart technology that will know when the intruder arrives. We've even got sensors that are pressure sensitive. If somebody's on the roof, we can identify that there's somebody there before they obviously do harm to the asset. So we're rather looking at a preventative approach than obviously a reactive.
Yeah, I hear you. So if there's pressure on the roof, I mean, obviously it's hopefully not just my cat, but what can you do? Because an alarm wouldn't necessarily chase a thief away. We're seeing such brazen crimes. A reaction unit, would you be relying on private security, hopefully, to get to that area, which, let's face it, are quicker than the police?
Definitely brazen crime is up, and we will know if it's your kitty cat on the roof. Our technology can actually identify even if it's a cat or even a type of vermin animal. So our technology is is growing in intelligence all the time. I can even identify if a bird is on your roof. So the biggest problem we've got in South Africa is false alerts and false alarms, and that's generally why the police don't react. They see it as a false incident. And even your top securities, the stats I do have, is that 97% of alarms are actually false alarms in South Africa at the moment. I mean, you've all been at home when your alarm goes off and there's actually nothing transpiring. So we're in a business to reduce all of those false alarms and all those events. So when that event does happen, we actually know that the reactionary is actually reacting to an event that's critically to save that asset.
Talk me through an incident where, if you have one, because I would imagine this is sort of fairly new tech and it's stuff that you're developing as you see the problem in the market. Do you have case studies of where your tech has actually stopped the theft of solar panels? And if so, can you explain how it stopped?
We definitely have case studies. So the first one is obviously our specialized composite that's been installed, in your main telco environment. There we've proven, we've driven down the damage and the theft of actual batteries. We've actually got a return on investment that we can actually show people of that type of installation when it's on an industrial level. And then yes, we've got smaller, case studies with, even remote lodges around the country, the hospitality industry, where we've actually proven that we can actually catch a criminal and stop the incident happening. And we work very closely with your top tier 1 reaction units around the country. So definitely got stats, and we've started to build up a nice proven record of using tech, but at the same time you still need the human element. You still need somebody to actually react to that incident.
And of course, Rodney, we've had huge demand for solar panels because everyone wants to be less dependent on Eskom and keep the lights on when there's load shedding. How much demand is there for your product? Is it more of a high-end product, though? Is it something that's going to cost an arm and a leg? Because let's face it, when you put solar panels on your roof, you're probably extending your bond to do so.
Definitely. And that's why we see it as a critical asset. I mean, people are putting these big investments, into their properties, and so we've had incidents before our technology was installed where a person literally installed it and the following day, the asset had been stolen. So now we're working very closely with even finance companies, and we're starting to embrace insurance companies that for as little as 99 Rand a month, you can actually have our entire stack of technology monitoring your site. There's different tiers, and when you talk about cost effectiveness for an entire site, I'm talking about a corporate site, you're in for 799 Rand per month. So this is very affordable, and we want to be able to allow this to be able to go out to the masses and not just to the select few.
All right, and you say so you can currently insure your solar panels with an insurance company. Are you saying that insurance companies are also looking at your technology, perhaps to buy into it?
Correct. They're looking at it as a way to drive down premiums, because obviously the less incidents and the less theft that's happening, it's better for the consumer as well as better for the insurance company as well as the financier. They don't want to finance assets that then get stolen, and the consumer. A lot of these deals out there, the consumer's buying the solar. One, yes, to keep the lights on, but there's also a return of investment because it costs less to generate power than it does to use your traditional facility. So there's an entire business model around it where the consumer, insurer and the financier, they're all in this together to ensure that the equipment stays there and it can generate electricity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Rodney Taylor, Managing Director of Guardian Eye. It's a company involved in remote security, home automation, coming up with clever ways to stop thieves stealing your solar panels. Of course, this is a problem we are facing. No official stats yet, but it does seem to be on the rise.